Good morning, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. Thought I'd make a video. It is a Monday. I suppose this is a Monday Reads. Here in West Michigan is 11:54 late Monday morning on July the 27th, 2020. I was just outside watering the roses and other flowers, and it is gray and humid outside this morning. My wife says sun's supposed to shine late this afternoon, so we'll see. My wife is at a prayer meeting, and I am writing in my diary. I just finished page 707 for the year 2020. I am now on page 708. So I was going to put this in my July 2020 diary. This is the second folder. Oh, it's the wrong one. Can't put it in here because this is the first folder. I don't know why I had this one out, so I got to put it in the second folder. Did I put this earlier in the wrong folder? Nope. I ended on the 15th of July. I ended on page 671. Now I'm on page 708 for the year 2020. We're coming to the end of July. Yeah, I said, what was the last Friday? Is this coming Friday, the 31st. So Saturday will be the 1st of August, 2020. So I'm drinking coffee, which is now cold. And I've been reading this morning The Life of Samuel Johnson by Boswell. I've been reading this just non-stop, all day, all night, just reading it. And also I've been reading, I was mentioning I was supposed to get some other books on Samuel Johnson in the mail. And I got this. I had ordered this. This is Samuel Johnson, A Dictionary of the English Language and Anthology, Penguin Classics. This is not the original, I think it's 2 volumes, Dictionary of the English Language that Samuel Johnson wrote. It says here, you have a chronological order of his life. It says here, in 1746, a dictionary of the English language was undertaken, and then it was published in 1755. So he worked for almost 9 years. He worked on that he had some other helpers, 5 or 6 Scottish fellows that worked with him. So I've been reading this, and then I got this in the mail, and I got far as an introduction. I haven't really looked at that much. I've been reading the introduction to Samuel Johnson, the Dictionary of the English Language and Anthology. And then I got this book I came across in the footnotes and reading one of those books on Samuel Johnson. This is Designing the Life of Johnson, the Lynch Lectures in Bibliography, 2001 and 2002 by Bruce Redford. This is really fascinating. I read the first chapter the other day about the imprinting of Johnson, what a massive undertaking it was in publishing this. I mean, printing it, it had to be spell checked, it had to be, it was revised, it was added to, even as it was being printed out. It took 6 years before it was being written and finally published. So he goes into the history of the publishing. He goes into the printer, all the people who were involved in publishing it. The Life of Samuel Johnson. So I was reading it. The next chapter is, it's a fascinating book about how this thing was designed and how it was structured and how it was organized. So it's kind of interesting. I got this. And then I got this book in the mail yesterday, Samuel Johnson, The Life of Writing by Paul Fussell. This, to me, what I've read of this, I've learned more about Samuel Johnson in the first 26 pages than all the reading I've done. This is a fantastic little book on Samuel Johnson. I highly recommend this. Samuel Johnson, The Life of Writing by Paul. If you're really into Samuel Johnson, if you're into his life as a writer, then you have to pick this up. It's really fascinating. And I've been reading also, this morning I read the preface to his dictionary in this little book, From the Preface to the Dictionary by Samuel Johnson. This selected writings, Samuel Johnson. So those are the Samuel Johnson books I've got recently. My wife is always picking me books up. Well, I did get a book in the mail yesterday, a new book. Well, it's not new, but this is a New York Review book. I came across this book when I was reading The Shadow in the Garden by James Atlas, which was his memoir about being a biographer. I was reading that a couple of weeks ago. He wrote a biography, James Atlas, on Saul Bellow and on, what's his name? Swartz, Dalmore Swartz. But this, he mentioned this book, The Quest for Corvino, an experimental biography, an experiment in biography by A.J.A. Symons. So I got this book because I'm fascinated with biography. So I picked this up. It says here in the back, one day in 1925, a friend asked A.J.A. Symons if he had read Friar Roth's Herodian the Seventh. He hadn't, but soon did, and found himself entranced by the novel, a masterpiece. And no less fascinated by the mysterious person of the all but forgotten creator. The Quest for Corvino is a hilarious and heartbreaking portrait of the strange Frederick Roth, self-appointed Byron Corvino, an artist, writer, frustrated aspirant to the priesthood with a bottomless talent for self-destruction. But this singular work, subtitled An Experiment in Biography, is also a remarkable self-portrait, a study of the obsession and sympathy that inspire the biographer's art. Friar Roth's Herodian the Seventh is also available from the New York Review Books. I gotta look that up today. So I got that in the mail yesterday. Now my wife got me this book. She went to Zeeland Public Library. They have just one little thing of used books, and she called me on the cell phone, and she said, "Do you have this book? Do you have that? Do you want this? Do you want this?" And she mentioned this book by Pat Barker, a novel, Toby's Room. I collect the writings of Pat Barker. She's an English writer. She's known for her Regeneration trilogy. So I got this. She got this for me. And then at the little public library here in our neighborhood, she picked this up. She picked these two books up. Station Island, Seamus Heaney. He's a poet. This is poetry. And then this morning she picked this book up, the Depositions, New and Selected Essays on Being and Ceasing to Be by Thomas Lynch. I've shown the books of Thomas Lynch. We have 3 or 4 of his books. He's an undertaker here in Michigan, but he writes poetry and essays. He's a very good writer. He writes about being a funeral director and about death and dying and about his small town. He's really a good writer, so I recommend him. So my wife picked this up today when she was out walking. My wife walks every morning, And she puts books in the little library, and she takes books out. And so, but as far as my Monday reads, I have been reading the life of Samuel Johnson. I have just been poring over it and studying it and meditating on it. And I got more books coming on Samuel Johnson. I got another biography on Samuel Johnson coming in the mail. Samuel Johnson and his dictionary. I have a book coming, The Friendship of Samuel Johnson and James Boswell, on their friendship. So this morning I looked at buying used the complete works of Samuel Johnson, but I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too kind of crazy. But really enjoying this, finding it fascinating, this little in-depth study of Samuel Johnson. So that's my Monday reads. That's what I'll be reading. I'm writing in my diary. Really haven't felt like going anywhere. I'm just kind of hunkering down during this time of this plague and all the insanity going on in the world, in the United States, in our government, in the streets. I'm just trying to keep my eyes on Jesus. So I hope you're all doing well. Had a good weekend reading. Have a good reading week. And like I said, I don't plan to go anywhere or do anything except read and write. Yeah, that's about it. So I'll sign off, and I do thank you for the new subscriber. I thank you for the comments. I do hope you're all well and safe. And then until next time, bye.